booties for black girl nerds.
Good to see you guys too. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Let us toast to homies like Noah and Elena. May we all have them in our lives to help us push through when the adversity is there and we need to get through it with partners in the struggle. So I will begin with you, Dominique. For Elena, what do you think that she best serves for Noah and what he needs when they cross paths with each other?
Wow. I think that one, even though they're just meeting each other, I think that he has a partner because he's going on this mission and he doesn't know who he can trust, and at least there's a human who comes from where he comes from. I think they immediately want to protect each other, which is like she punches him, but then as soon as he sees her about to get, he could go to the exit, but he doesn't go to the exit. And she could leave him holding the door, but she doesn't leave him holding. Then that's like in the first couple of minutes of them meeting. So, and then I think, what she gives him, I think she's also a rhyme or reason that she gives him a different perspective on things when he's clouded in his mind and he can't see past his anger or his own fear. She's able to kind of reason with him, voice of reason, I guess.
In that, they find an alliance and partners in the struggle, and everyone embarks on this mission for a greater purpose. So I got to thinking about alliances. So for you, Anthony, when you think of their sort of alliance that they have with each other and the Autobots and all these things they're going to embark for, do you think there's a common quality between their friendship dynamic and how the Autobots are to their mission? Is there a common thread in that regard?
A common thread between Noah's relationship to Elena and Noah's relationship to the Autobots? Or you mean the Autobots and the Maximals?
Mm-hmm.
I think she means the Autobots and their relationship to each other and Noah and Elena.
Oh, 100%. I think, it's about trust, man. It's about trust, and it's about finding the strengths. Like Elena is strong in areas that Noah isn't, and it's about accepting. If Optimus acted like he could do it all on his own, he'd probably be gone, at the end of this film. And I think that's why it's so strong to see this moment at the end of the movie between Noah and Optimus. And you see these guys, without spoiling it, but you see how them going from essentially not even liking each other to then finding this moment of trust at the end and it saving our main character's life. That's that power of when you just let someone in who you may not have trusted before, but you let them in and you're like, yo, nah, I need you. It's unite or fall till all are one. So I think there's that commonality between Elena and Noah and Prime. I think, the Maximals and the Autobots, so that's a common theme.
For sure. Well, I thank you guys. They are wrapping me. Have a wonderful premiere. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you, Toby, for your time. I appreciate it.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal.
I know that's right. I was thinking about how I enjoy, your career outside of this, and thought about how active you are in not just the sound, but the look, the feel, choreography, production. So when you take those skills that you have and you participate on a project of this scale, how does that reaffirm like your own creativity, and what gifts of your own do you feel you brought to make Transformers better?
I think it affirms it and reaffirms it very well. And I also feel like just doing what it is that I do kind of prepared me for this, not as far as the acting, but just being in front of the camera, not being afraid to execute what it is that needs to be done. The ability to create a song that is geared towards a specific portion of the movie that can ultimately become like the theme song or only original song on the soundtrack. and have a feature with Nas. I think a lot of the stuff that I've done previously has prepared me to be able to execute at the level it is that I got to execute for the film.
Mhm. With that, and again, being able to bring all those skills into it, working with Nas, somebody who arguably ruled in the 90s,
Yes.
still continues to rule, but in that prime period. So how can you talk about the collaboration between all of you for the song and what that was like to bring your sounds together from the South to the East Coast and bringing it all this way?
Yep, Steven Caple Jr. had an idea for a type of sound that he would want for the final battle of the movie. Brought that idea to me. I sprinkled my little creativity over it, put what I thought should be together. He was like, yo, this sounds fire. Would you mind if I show it to Nas? I said, yeah, do me a favor. Don't be silly and ask me no silly questions like that. Definitely show it to Nas. Nas loved it, did what he does on a regular basis, and we created something that was absolutely immaculate.
And lastly, what do you think that Reek best serves for Noah? You know, they're best friends in the movie. What does he serve for him?
Best friend, someone who cares about him and wants him to be in the best possible position he can be, utilizing his talents and skills, and he's willing to go to extreme lengths to make sure that he can provide and has what he needs to do that.
If we had to dress one of the cars to be in a Tobe project, you know, what would the car look like? What would the car's name be? We know it's going to be mint or some type of color like that. What would the car's name be? Autobot.
Come on, watch this. Optimint Prime. Come on, let's put it together for that one.
Special edition Funko, let's go.
Come on, Hasbro, holla at me.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Congratulations on the sound, the acting, and continued success. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Peace.
Thank you for your time, Lorenzo. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's a beautiful sort of like vibrance from just people coming out of the theater, the screening that we had, and talking to the cast and everything. Everyone just seems so like just bright and vibrant. Talk to me, please, about the dynamic that Steven brought to this next iteration of Transformers and how it's unique compared to some of the others.
Well, you know, I'll say the reason we wanted Steven to direct this was because when you look at his work, it has a really great sense of humanity about it. It's, you know, he paints really empathetic characters or very clear characters. And so emotionally, what we were trying to reach for in the script was a lot more emotion than we've done in our movies before. 3 different character arcs. And at the same time, we're taking the audience on an adventure that is part of the Transformers series. So when we met with him, we wanted to hear how he was reading the script and where he was taking the characters. And it was great. And he had grown up with the Beasts. So it was something that was really near and dear to him. And anytime you get a director that has sort of an internal DNA understanding of characters, it really is helpful. You know, and then of course, he's got great taste in music. So I think the music has really given the movie a lot of spirit.
Mm-hmm. With that spirit, I mean, not just that, just the epic nature of the locations. I mean, it is incredible. What is on when you are thinking of these huge beasts, the Transformer and all the Autobot, all these huge beasts, and the scale of what that looks to Earth in real life? Other than Machu Picchu, what doesn't make the list? Because there's so many marvels in the world. How do you even narrow it down?
Well, you know how we do it often? The story will sort of point in a direction. Like in this case, the story needed to go to a place that had jungle because of the beasts. So sometimes the story leads us sort of in a particular direction, but the truth is at one point we were going to Kilimanjaro because, again, African animals, right? So we have, you know, in our own case, changed it. You know, we all have places that feel really majestic or wonderful. You know, like I don't know if we'll go there, but I would love to go to a place in Indonesia. There's a Buddhist stupa there. It's the second biggest in the world, called Borobudur, and it sits right underneath a volcano. It's one of the most spectacular visuals, and it's this big, open, wide plain full of jungle. And, that's a good example of, like, from personal experience, I've been there. Wow, it would be a wow on film. So we'll all sort of share those ideas, and then, usually we'll come up with the one that goes, yeah, let's go there.
See, I learned today. Now I have to get off and Google that now, because now I want to see it with my own eyes.
It's really cool looking.
Storyline.
It's really cool.
Storyline. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wonderful film. I appreciate your time, and have a terrific premiere.
Thank you very much. I'm glad for your enthusiasm.
Thank you so much for your time, Steven. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, and pleasure meeting you.
The pleasure is all mine. I had a whole different line of questioning, but after talking to Lorenzo, it kind of gave me some more food for thought. And I asked him what energy and what you brought to the franchise that was different from previous iterations of the franchise. And he talked a lot about your ability to humanize and how much he respected that quality, your characters when they're on the screen. So I thought about that and the Transformers. What do you think is the most human-like element of the Transformers, and how did you want to honor that quality, if there is one?
Oh man, no, there is. I think there's the Transformers, like the robot themselves, and there's like the human element to it, right? Like for the Transformers it was easy when trying to look at Optimus Prime because he's very noble in terms of his character and he likes to look after humanity. And I wanted to switch that up. I wanted to see the growth from this person who's just trying to look out for his own people on Cybertron, then learns to like love and understand the rest of the world, And I felt like that was relatable, you know what I mean? Like looking at Optimus Prime, it almost felt like he also had like this kind of immigrant-esque story, and he felt like he was stuck here on this planet. And then with Noah and Elena, they're both sort of hitting these societal sort of glass ceilings, if you will, and issues. And so like I felt like that's what humanized them and made their arcs so special, because at the beginning of the film you see their struggles, you feel like they are lesser than, at least the world seems to see them that way. And then at the end of the film you see them as heroes, so to speak. And so like you see that sort of mesh up with Optimus Prime's arc and the rest of the Transformers, and I think that's what makes this particular film special. But overall, I feel like with every Transformers movie, we're looking for and chasing that dynamic between the robots and the humans.
In the midst of all this big story, big sets, big scenes, big entities, how do you make sure everyone has their moment? Because I can look to the film and think of a moment for every single being that affected me.
Yeah, that one's a little tough, when trying to make sure especially when you have a lot of characters. I think it just starts off with the main characters and letting them tracking them through the journey, and then seeing how everyone could either add and or subtract from their arc. You know what I mean? Become a conflict or become a friend, so to speak, like Mirage and Anthony's character Noah versus like Prime, and how Anthony and him Noah and Optimus Prime sort of bump heads throughout. So when you do that, you kind of naturally find a balance, like who needs screen time, who needs to be paid more attention to. One thing for sure in this film, we want to show more love to the Maximals, like the Beast characters. And so by starting off the film, no spoilers, with our heroes and getting a chance to see them in their environment, that helped us sort of balance their storyline out, because you don't get to see them again until later on in the picture, where they start to become like the foundation of what happened in the past and the introduction to the new villain Unicron. So yeah, it kind of balances itself out once you track the characters and their arcs.
Okay. So real quick, did you have an Optimus Prime first as a child or a Maximal first? Which one did you have first?
I didn't have either, honestly. That's what's crazy. I didn't have a toy. I didn't have the Transformer toys growing up. Like I didn't get it until actually I signed on to this project. Hasbro looked out.
Send him all the toys.
No, they had sent me, and it was Optimus Prime first. That's what they said. So yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. It is always a pleasure, and have a wonderful premiere.
Thank you so much.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.